Hello, 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 everybody. Wow, what a week. What what a week it's been. As you're coming in, as you're hanging out with me, I don't even know what time it is. I'm gonna give it a minute or 5 before I go ahead and roll the intro because I said 7:30 and I said 7:15. And so I thought I'd get here at 7:15 instead of 7:30 because I got the dog upstairs. And this way we have a chance to just kind of hang out for a minute because oh my, what a week. Has it been crazy? That's a dumb question. It has been a completely insane week. This week felt like it was 9 million years long. And it's we're not even at Sunday yet. I don't know. Don't know. Anyway, I was going we'll cover a few housekeeping things before I roll the intro. I was going to stream both here and on a different channel because I think I might be moving channels. Stay tuned. We will see. But that was going to be the plan. And then I forgot that YouTube requires that you give it 24 hours notice before you're going to live stream for the first time. So I couldn't add the other channel. So, we're here. It's just it's been a lot. But anyway, um I'm gonna roll the intro, and then before we really get going tonight, I'm gonna roll the intro, we'll cover some housekeeping things, and then do you guys wanna see the new intro? Do you wanna see the new intro? I built a new intro today because things are changing over here at the Unfiltered Tea, and things are changing with me. So, it would be a sneak peek in what is likely to be where we're gonna change things up to. So, I will do that. First, I'm gonna run the old intro. We're gonna run the old Unfiltered Tea intro. We're gonna get going. I have to find it again. We're gonna get going, and then we will cover some housekeeping things, and then we'll take a sneak peek at the new intro. I hate building these things. Can I just tell you how much I hate the amount of time that it takes me sitting with Canva, not sponsored, and just figuring out all the little things because I would love to just use a template, except I am not a template girly because then I don't get what I want. So, but nope, that thought I'm going to save that thought. Intro. Let me roll the intro. Let me roll the old intro. Hello and welcome to The Unfiltered Tea, a show where we say all the things you wish the newscasters said, unscripted and unfiltered. We talk about politics, pop culture, and courts, so pull up your soapbox, pour yourself a cuppa, and let's go. Pour yourself a cuppa. You know what I've got? I've got Stay Salty. I've got the Stay Salty glass, and I have a lovely whiskey and ginger beer, a blood orange ginger beer. It's delightful. It's exactly what a Saturday night of this week needed. Just a blood orange ginger beer would be lovely, but I also have this truly delightful ginger, no, not ginger, orange, toasty orange whiskey. So good. It's just poof, instant cocktail. And this week. So first, some housekeeping stuff. First, we're going to keep it light. And nope, I'm looking at my notes and I put things in orders that I don't like. First, guys, we also have a new swoop. I am going to warn you though. I'm going to run this swoop, but I'm going to warn you. If you have critters, if you're just listening, go find your device. Go find it right now if you're just listening. I'm going to give us a couple of seconds here because you're going to want to turn the volume down. Don't worry, I'm going to have a silent version of this too. But as much as I love this, Dad built it. He's amazing. We love him. Thank you, Dad, for building this for me. Um, this is my old boy. He's not with us anymore. But we built a lovely new swoop. But there is a bark in the swoop. So if you've got a kitty sitting on your lap, turn the volume down. If you've got dogs nearby that don't handle that well, turn your volume down. You have been warned. I'm playing it now. Swoop! Andy's in mono, so I didn't catch that the first time. Anyway, but we have a new swoop, and I just need to find a way to make the swoop silent, and then we'll have the new swoop. Because I love the bark, but my dog did not take well to it. So, who knows? Maybe we'll just keep it because we need the barks these days. So we have that. If you are new here, hi, welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to me. I am Aurora White. I am also slouching. That's not good. Don't do that. Sit properly, ladies and gentlemen. You will feel better. I am Aurora White. I am a legal biller by trade. Um, and I'm a law nerd and a politics nerd. And the news is just really heavy. And so, guess what? Over here on this channel, we're going to build community. It is open for discussion. There are rules with the discussion, though, which is mostly bring facts. Facts are friends. And don't be a dick. That's it. Those are the rules. I would like to say no name calling, but I don't know about you. I can't get through this regime without name calling. So as weird as this is to say, name calling is allowed, but with respect. A matching of energies in a sense. So we will do our best to try and avoid it. Basically, bullying is not allowed. But you know, we mostly we're just going to gather here. We're going to lift each other up. We're going to take care of each other because we have to. Because the politics we're dealing with have just jumped the shark at this point. This is not, will they be slightly better for the economy than this guy? This is complete authoritarianism versus the democracy that I would like to live in. And it's wild, just wild times. So come on in, bring your cup up, bring your soapbox, let's hang out. And, we're going to keep lifting each other up because that's how we're going to get through this. Let's see. Oh, and with that, are you guys into New Year's resolutions at all? I'm not a resolution girly. I apologize. My in-ears have gotten stuck on my shirt and they keep being pulled down, which means they keep like dragging me back. Super fun. Isn't technology great? Resolutions, things like that. I don't really do. I did resolutions for like a minute and then I just felt bad about myself. So I thought, well, that's annoying. I won't do that anymore. So then I want to do more of whatever, insert a bunch of things, or I want to travel to these places, all of those sorts of things. And then 2020 happened and everything that was in the before times. We are now in the after times. And from 2020 all through 2025, right? 2020 happened and it was like 2020, it's going to be our year, blah, 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 blah. And then come March, we all were stuck inside and couldn't see people. And it was a lot. And so 2021, all those memes were going around like the little cartoons of poking in the door at 2021 and walking in real quiet. And we've all kind of everybody I know in my sphere, I don't know what it's been like in your sphere, let me know. Um, but for me and my peoples, it has been 5 years of let's not make any sudden moves and hope the year is better. And here we are, the end of this week, with all of the bullshit this regime has put out there. And I'm calling it bullshit because I'm calling it a regime for accurate reasons. Um, and at this point, I'm like, no, 2026, I'm gonna take up my space. I'm gonna take up my room. I encourage all of you to do the same thing. There is a certain amount of space for you in this world. Take it up, fill it up. Get out there. Do your thing. Been thinking about starting a YouTube channel or a podcast or something. Do it. Do it. Worst that's gonna happen is you'll do a few episodes and be like, "Whew, not for me," and go do something else. Do it. You wanna learn a new skill? Um, do it if you want to. Like, take up your room. Take up your room. Take up your space. I encourage you all to do that. So, with all of that, good to have you guys here. Good to see you. Replay crew, love you so much. If there are some folks who think that they can only catch me live. Not true. This is up on replay. I have everything set so that you can see the live chat if there is a live chat while you are watching the video, because as a viewer, when I'm watching replay crew, now sometimes I forget that I can't chat until I go into the chat, but as a viewer, I love that, so I am making sure that is available for you. Um, okay. Here's what we are gonna do. I am going to, instead of a swoop, I'm gonna give you a sneak preview of what is maybe probably going to be the new intro. After that, we're gonna run through the week. We're gonna do this. Take a deep breath, and then we're gonna run through the I can't think of the word. The ages of this week, because it's been a lot. Um, and then I will say goodnight for now, and I will see you next week. I'm obviously not leaving right now. That came out anyway, while you're here, if you're enjoying this, do all of the YouTube things, because I will forget as soon as I get this playing. I will forget to say, if you're here, you're having fun, you want to be a part of the community, great, welcome. Go ahead and join us. Hit the like and subscribe. Do all the YouTubey things, and you will see the Aurora H. White down here. That is me. That is me on the socials. So, go ahead and find that. Sorry, my phone just went off, and I thought it was something important. It wasn't. Um, Go ahead and find me on the socials, Threads and Instagram are usually where you get the quickest information from me. Um, but yeah, do all those things. And well, yes, all the things. I'm going to run the new intro. Welcome to the Aurora Show. My name is Aurora White, legal biller by trade, opinionated law and politics nerd for fun. I'm here to break down the political, pop culture, and court headlines that we're all talking about. We value facts, thoughtful discussion, and salty language. So whether you're a fellow law nerd, a political junkie, or just looking for a little hope in today's crazy world, you're in the right place. Tap that subscribe button, pull up your soapbox, and let's go. I still need to fix the audio on that a little bit, because that let's go is very, very demandy. It is very demandy. And that's not what I'm going for. I'm looking for more of a let's go, not a let's go. So I'll fix it. I'll fix it. But that was your little preview. That was your little preview. Okay. Buckle up, Buttercup. We have a bunch of things to cover tonight. I'm going to do a bit of an overview of things. I was toying with the idea of doing, so I have not seen the JD Vance presser from the other day. I was toying with the idea of pulling it up and reacting to it live. We'll see how we're feeling when we get to that point. We might hold off. We might just skip it because that might be too much for today. So, all right. We started the week. We started the week with Venezuela, with Trump calling in the military to go arrest another president of another country to bring him back to New York to be tried for crimes here. And so I recognize that Maduro, not a good guy. Us going to arrest Maduro to bring him back here. The analogy that I started with, and please correct me if I'm wrong or if there is a better analogy, but the analogy that I came up with when it first happened was it would be kind of like if Putin came over and arrested Trump and then took over the US. Like, we didn't like him, but you're not the guy we wanted to come rescue us. Like, this is not a rescue. This is just as bad or worse. So, is Trump slightly better? I don't actually know. But he's not like better. And did it make much of a difference? Not really. The entire Maduro regime is still in charge, near as I can tell. It's just him and his wife have been brought here. And did I hear I've seen some headlines about the court stuff, but I don't want to go into that because I have not double checked some of what I've seen. I can say that from every angle that I have seen, this whole Venezuela thing was like the geopolitical version of a smash and grab. Like, they are Trump and the regime is trying to remove Maduro so that they can go in and get the oil and other natural reserves that Venezuela has. But what? Like, okay. That was where our week started. That was where our week started. And what I should have done was hop on that day and talk with you about it. We might just have to do more shows because this news cycle is gonna hurt to try and do this for a week. So we had that. And here's the crazy thing, right? So we also have the Epstein files still lurking, and the DOJ is not releasing them the way that we should be releasing them. There's 9 million other problems with the Venezuela situation, up to and including the fact that we have been attacking boats in the Caribbean for a while now with no real reason, and it led up to this, and now there's talk of boots on the ground, maybe, like, but also they want Greenland, and I don't think President Trump has any idea where these countries are, and then it's just I cannot wrap my head around it, and we could take time talking about that. I could do more research, but then shortly after that, oh wait, I should swoop. Um, old swoop. and I'm taking a sip of my beverage because then was the anniversary of January 6th. And the propaganda machine has trying to claim that it wasn't violent, it wasn't an insurrection attempt. And, it was all this far left radical agitator that are paid. I Dude, nobody has I mean, maybe Elon has enough money to pay people 20 or $30 an hour to go protest, but I'm not sure that would even work. Um, but regarding January 6th, like, it was I don't how to put this? I'm a little mad at the media, the mainstream media, for letting the gaslighting happen. Let it allowing the gaslighting to continue for the last 5 years. It starts to get to be kind of a lot when you just have when there's a huge group of the population that's like, "It was this. We watched it." And the propaganda has been so prevalent, and the mainstream media has tried to both sides it so often because they don't wanna come across as unfair. I will probably rant on that in a little while. Um, but y January 6th was one of those points in time where I thought it was a turning point, and then it became a footnote. And that's still a struggle for me because I really thought that was gonna be a turning point. I thought we're all seeing it. Everybody can see this. It is in real time. And the propaganda was coming out also in real time. And we're still having to remind people about the facts. And we know more of the facts now, but we still have to present some folks with video evidence and even the video and the photographic evidence, testimony, court documents. There's still not that there is a group of people within MAGA that is still not believing it, willfully or otherwise. And it is odd to me. It is odd to me. Um, and here's the thing. I am here for nuanced discussion. I am here for both sides discussions in many areas. Okay. We want to talk about global warming or windmills or things like that. Great. Let's discuss sustainability and the options and the pros and cons of those things. I'm here for those discussions. When we're talking about we have these verifiable facts and witnesses and things we know to be true, and somebody over here says, but I don't think that's real. What matrix fever dream are we living in that we have to give that equal measure, right? And when did we leave facts in the wind? When did we leave facts in the wind? I mean, it just I know when we left facts in the wind, when we got rid of the fairness doctrine. That started the propaganda machine, and we are here now. But you can't at a certain point, you can't both sides something. Or if you're gonna both sides something, it's not like, well, is democracy better for our country or is authoritarianism better for our country? Well, our Constitution made a choice. And we have decided that that is the founding document of our country. So maybe let's stick with that. Is it a living, breathing document that needs to be updated sometimes? Absolutely. Do I think the next updates need to be some rules on the Supreme Court, term limits for Congress, and things like that? You betcha. I realize I've gone off onto a squirrel moment tangent. It is just the start of this, and it does lead me into the next topic, which is what everybody is talking about today because it is, well, everywhere today. So swoop, and then we will discuss Minneapolis. Am I saying that wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm a Mainer. Tell me how to say Minneapolis properly. I saw a thread about it earlier. I thought I was saying it right. I don't know. Maybe it's like Callus or Orang Pond here in Maine, where if you just read it, it's wrong. Anyway, um, okay, off to Minnesota. I've decided that I am not going to show the video again. Here's what I'm going to say about this video. If you have not already seen it, if you are somebody who's being careful with your emotions, if you are somebody who feels empathy for others, um, if you are somebody who does not have to witness these sorts of things in your work life, or if you are somebody who needs to witness these things in your work life, here's what I'm going to say. You cannot unsee this. You cannot unsee this. So I'm torn because you cannot unsee it. It will haunt you. And it's supposed to. And I don't say that from a place of callousness or anything like that. I say that because if you are a kind and an empathetic human being, now I'm also going to say there are some of us, myself included, that are very, very good at compartmentalization. Either work or life experience has maybe improved that. Nurses, hospital doctors, doctors in general, EMTs, police officers, court reporters. um, the list goes on. There are a lot of jobs out there where you have to compartmentalize. Prosecutors, defense attorneys, you have to compartmentalize or you cannot function. And the human brain is truly remarkable at allowing you to compartmentalize so that your nervous system does not shut down and get overloaded. If you are like me and you have now watched this video multiple times and the empathy is there. I mean, I teared up when I heard the Rebecca Good's statement about her wife. Rebecca Good, I think that's correct. And I still have those emotions. I remember, I believe it was the Philandro Castile video that also was all over social media and frankly should have changed a lot more minds back then than it did. That one was hard. That is still, when I say that name, that video still plays in my head. So if you've not seen the video of the murder of Renee Good, I'm going to call it like it is, or as I see it at any rate, and as the facts of the case seem to bear out, I would caution you in that, particularly if you are more sensitive than maybe some folks around you, do not feel like you must watch it because you cannot unsee it. If you have seen it, it is okay to not feel okay. You should not feel okay at the end of that. If you do feel okay at the end of that and you still have empathy, you're probably a lot like me, and your brain is just compartmentalizing it so that you can get through everything because this all happened. Everything I have stated so far happened this week. We're not even 2 weeks into the year yet. We're not we're barely on day 10 of the new year. So, use caution as you go into seeing it. I will not be playing it here because I'm sure it's going to continue to be in the news. I am sure it is going to continue to be played. We can go look at it if we can get to a point where we can look at it like a potential juror would look at it. Why do I say that? Well, here's the thing. The very first thing that I said at the beginning of this was, well, at least this is a state crime most of the time because I've seen a lot of things floating around. I've seen this regime saying that these agents get full immunity because they're federal and they have been anointed with the power of being able to kidnap and apparently take life. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So when the local jurisdiction says, "FBI, get out our way, this is ours," they're correct. They are correct. And if they can get the evidence, they can absolutely charge this man with murder. And if they can, and they do, we will follow that case. I am I am hopeful that more local jurisdictions are going to start enforcing the actual laws on the books. Um, because this is not okay. This is harassment. This is terrorism. This is the the oath that these folks should be taking. And the oath that this guy, the perpetrator, did take, assuming he is in fact a veteran, was to the Constitution. He's not following the Constitution. And amongst the gaslighting, those agents left the scene of the crime. That we know. They prevented a physician from rendering aid, which we also have captured on video. This is not political. This is a violent act perpetrated by one person against another person. There was no due process. ICE is not particularly good at following due process, even though every person within the United States has a right to due process. I know this regime would like to claim that that's not true and that some people have more due process than others. No, no. That is not how the laws work. And I don't frankly give a fuck if the Supreme Court would like to temporarily change that or not, because that's going to be temporary. It's very clear in the Constitution. It is very clear in the 14th Amendment when it was enacted. Or the 14th Amendment is where this is. Everybody gets due process. You do not get to just go from 0 to bang bang without due process. And they did. And the new video released yesterday that was apparently the perpetrator's video shows that he made that choice because he continued to film it. And he had enough presence of mind to take the phone out of one hand, put it in the other hand, shoot, and then everybody just walked away. When you look at their body language, there is no sense of relief. There is no, oh my goodness, I'm safe now. You don't see any of that. So this is not a both sides situation. You do not get to pretend that this is anything other than it was, which was a violent act committed without rhyme or reason against another person. And I've it's not okay. And it's okay to not feel okay. And it's okay to avoid the video because you cannot unsee it. Which is where I started with that. And then I went off on a rant. I'm also going to say, if you do not have empathy for her child, don't tell me this is political. Don't tell me that this is a both sides. Every side needs it. No. Do not come at me with that. Because you know what? I might not have agreed with anything Charlie Kirk said. And yes, I'm going to make the comparison. Stick with me. I personally didn't feel anything for Kirk. I don't feel anything personal with Renee Good either because I didn't know either of them personally. What I will say is that there is plenty of video that would indicate that had what happened to Kirk happen to literally anybody on the left, I'm using quotes for a reason, he would have had a month of shows talking about how it was good. And I say that because unfortunately for me, I have seen a lot more Charlie Kirk footage since his death. Even with all of that, I don't condone what happened to him. I think whoever did it should be brought up on charges, should be put through the legal system, and should end up in jail because it should not have happened. And his children should not ever have to grow up knowing what happened. The same is true for Renee Good. The exact same. Don't tell me that you do not have empathy for her 6-year-old child who already lost a parent. That is a trauma no child should have to go through. It is even worse because in both cases, it's all over the internet. They will see it. So I'm asking anybody that goes to speak against about either of these, keep the children, keep the family in mind, because not everybody in the family chose to be there. Not everybody, it is a trauma I can only imagine, and I hope that I only ever imagine it. So all of that has also led me to think about the martyr situation. We're still on this comparison. Stick with me. The right tried real hard, like real hard, to turn Charlie Kirk into a martyr. I said that memorial service of his was it was a martyr induction ceremony. And it didn't take, because that's not how martyrs happen. That's not how martyrs get chosen. You don't get to calculate it. Depending on which historian you're talking to, maybe Jesus did that. Historical Jesus. I know there's a different spiritual Jesus. We're not having that conversation tonight. Um, but they tried so hard to turn Kirk into a martyr, and it just didn't take. And you're seeing the martyr thing sort of happen here. Honestly, she's a white woman who fit a certain mold. And so it's very easy to latch on to that and spread that and use, I hate to say use what happened to her to spark that empathy and get people on the side of justice and well, back to morality and law and that kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is, a black man was also killed by ICE in California, and it didn't blip on the news at all. And yeah, his color has something to do with it. It absolutely does. Um, yes. So just take in, it's been fascinating for me to see all of this play out. It really has. Um, and don't mistake me when I say fascinating. I hate that we are here. I hate this timeline. I want I want to go back to the other universe wherever it is. I this timeline sucks. I still need Marty McFly to go back and have a weird interaction with your mom and fix the timeline, please, because the Biff Tannen timeline is not something I ever thought I would see. And here we are. Here we are. Um, I am looking at my notes and seeing how many things I have covered because, um, yeah, we're approaching. I've been on my soapbox for 45 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to swoop. And then we're going to find some hopefulness in all of this. I've covered some of it, but I'm going to remind you there is hope. There is hope. There's actually a lot of hope right now, because even though this week has been 9.5 million years long, and we're all very tired, and we are not looking forward to Monday. And it's also Saturday, so God only knows what things have been dropping behind the scenes and stuff like that, because this regime likes to do things that are just rage inducing at 11:45 on Saturday when nobody's paying attention. Fine. Um Let me swoop. We will come together. We will find some hope. Take care of yourselves, especially as you're protesting. The protests are out there. Things are escalating. There is hope, though. Um, and I'm gonna bring that to you in just a second. Okay. So, deep breaths, everybody, deep breaths. We are here. Reminder, the charge of murder is usually a state charge. There are only like 6 or 7 options for the federal government to bring that charge. And the short list is if it happens out at sea, it happens in the air, that is under federal jurisdiction. Something like this, it's state jurisdiction. So, yes, I have questions about how this video being out there and this being in the news all of the time is going to affect a jury pool. I still think a jury pool could be found. It would probably be the most difficult jury to pick. But we are going to keep an eye on that because the state can bring these charges. And just a reminder, I don't know if you know this, but just a reminder, if the state brings charges and this dude goes to trial and is convicted, Trump can't pardon him. Trump, I think, has tried to do this in other cases, but the president does not have pardon. There's a word for it, and I can't think of it right now. Anyway, he doesn't have the ability to pardon for state crimes. They have to go to the governor for those pardons. So, mhm, have faith. Have faith in the system. I still have faith in the system, even though it seems broken a lot of times. And yes, I realize I'm a white woman. The system works best for, well, okay, it works rather well for people who look like me most of the time. It works the best for cisgendered straight white men, I do believe, um, that are rich. But I digress. So there is hope in that the legal process can in fact still take place in this, and I hope it does. Um, I haven't been sure if it is AI or not, but I thought I saw something earlier today where ICE was, um, while assaulting people or trying to arrest them illegally or something like that, and then they got themselves wearing the silver bracelets, and I don't know if that was AI. I kinda hope it was not, but I was unable to do a deep enough check, um, to see. Yes, I understand that the FBI seems to be keeping the local investigators from doing their job, but they're going to have to battle that out in court, and there's going to be, like, just have hope. Have hope. Because there's a lot of things that these guys could maybe get charged with, up to and including leaving the scene of a crime. So there are some enhancements. I don't know the local jurisdiction. I don't know the laws. Um, hope. We can have hope. Um, for whatever it is worth. She was not doing anything illegal. Anything illegal. If these idiots approach you and say, "Get out of the car," you know what you do not have to do? Get out of your car. You don't. You do not. It is not a I know they want everybody to think that, but no. No. There are some great sites out there for knowing your rights. You don't have to just comply. You don't. And at this point, depending on where you are, see what your local police force is up to, because I would say if they show up and they start harassing you, um, I would call your local police. Let's see if real law enforcement can keep these wannabes down. Because here's the other thing, like, I'm gonna tangent again, I know. They have dropped the standards so far for these federal agents that they literally can't do background checks in the right time. So you don't know, I'm sorry, but if somebody shows up with stuff they can order on Amazon, a mask, and no way for me to tell if they're real or not, you know what I'm doing? I'm going to get their license plate number. I'm going to make sure that I have that, and I will call that in. I'd get the plate number because that's the only way you're going to be able to track them. Do what you can to keep yourself safe. I'm not going to cause problems, and I'm not going to sit here and say break the law. That's not what I'm saying. But they can barely get a warrant to arrest you legally. So, yeah, no, you do not have to comply. If they're like, get out of the car, yeah, no, she didn't have to comply. Um, here is here's the biggest bit of hope that I have for you, and I want to leave you with this tonight. It's working. The pushback, our protests, are I've seen a lot of folks going, I'm tired of this silly, I'm tired of the punny signs and all of that. I'm not, and here's why. Do not mistake silliness for a lack of care or a lack of urgency. It is tactical silliness. I know that is a sentence that is very hard for me to say, but it's true. It is tactical, nonviolent ridiculousness. And it's working. The reason we are seeing the escalations, as much as it sucks, is that the pushing back is working. The regime in this country is not getting what they want. I mean, even with the Venezuela thing, I was seeing news earlier that the oil companies are like, we've been here a couple times before. We don't trust you and we don't trust them. So, no. Whether or not that holds, I don't know. But they are not getting everybody rolling over the way they did at the beginning. There is more pushback happening. And what they hate more than anything is being laughed at. Here's why. With this regime, Trump, Stephen Miller, JD Vance, a lot of them, they see themselves as these big bros that are Hegseths. To them, power and masculinity appears to be directly tied to how cruel you can be. Well, most people, I don't think that way. Empathy, courage, the ability to laugh in the face of danger is some of the strongest, most badass thing you can do. So keep it up. Keep it up. If you're not following Cats on a Couch yet, go follow her because she's delightful. There are plenty of accounts out there. We have to keep laughing because otherwise we'll get overwhelmed and then we'll get tired and then we can't fight anymore. So we need to take care of each other. We need to take care of ourselves. And when I say fight, I'm saying we're defending our rights. And it has to be tactical nonviolence. I know there are people who want to do more. Don't. Sit down, get a blow up costume, crank up some good tunes, go dance with your ice sign and be silly. Because there is truly, here's the thing, when you're silly like that, you're showing that you're not afraid. Even if you are terrified, you are showing this regime that you are not afraid. And they want you to be afraid. They want you to be terrified of them. And you might be. Dance anyway. Because it'll bring you a little bit of joy and it will give you courage to keep doing what needs to be done. Because here's the other thing, they thought they were going to get a civil war. It's right there in their playbook. And they thought they were going to get that February, March of last year. And we are now a year in, and nothing that they have tried to start a civil war has worked. So keep it up. Keep up the tactical nonviolence. Because I compare this administration a lot to a toddler who is having an epic tantrum, and really they just need a snack and a nap. But there is a point, if you've taken care of toddlers really at all ever who have tantrums, if you have not encountered a toddler tantrum, you are either magical or doing something very wrong. But there is a point with those toddler temper tantrums, right? Where when I would have them, and I did this when I was babysitting as well, and it is one of my favorite tactics to use, and it's kind of what we're doing now. As we as a nation are taking this kind of thing, right? Toddler has an epic meltdown and they hit this point, and you can tell from the fever pitch that the tantrum will be ending soon, either because they will just cry themselves, like they'll just fall asleep, or because they will finally accept the fact that they're just not going to get their own way. But right before it hits that like final crescendo, right? There's a screaming, they're crying so hard, they're generally hiccuping or something like that. And when it can kind of snap them out of it. But even if it doesn't, it tends to work anyway, where I used to just be like, oh, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, you're at like a 7 for tantrums. I don't know. Can you hit a 10? I don't know if you can hit a 10. Can you hit a 10 with a tantrum? Because that would be something to see. I'd like to see that. And usually there's some big whales, but also there it like I remember when I was little, it would like shake me out of it because then you're battling with, do I try to get to a 10 or do I step out of it and think about how I'm acting for a second? Um And I think with this administration, they're gonna keep going until they can't go anymore, right? So I think they're just gonna keep pitching this fever pitched tantrum until we have Nuremberg 2.0. And sorry, my nose is very itchy at the moment. Um, so I think we're there, but I also, guys, again, I cannot say this enough. They expected this to happen in March of last year, and they still can't get it to take. So we are doing our job, and it's not easy, and it sucks big time. And I look forward to the day that we move through this and we can properly honor all of the people like Ms. Good who are on the front lines, whether they intended to be or not, for protecting our democracy. And with that, I'm going to say this. Get your news from trusted sources. Facts are friends. It's lovely to have you here this evening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being with us. It's gonna I will see you next week. I will see you next week on both channels. Follow me on the socials. I'm over there. I look forward to what this year is going to bring us. And hopefully, maybe, possibly, hopefully, we are going to start to see things shift for the better. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know online what you want me to cover. Let me know if there's things you definitely want my take on. Yep. Nope. I am now having my own thoughts interrupt themselves. So I'm going to say, enjoy the rest of your evening. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. And as always, be well, do good, and remember to bark a lot. I will see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Unfiltered Tea. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you have a story you want our unfiltered take on, go ahead and drop it in the comments, and we will see you next time.